Welcome to Long Island TikTok. I'm Gabby.
I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Vinny.
And we're here with
Adam and the Metal Hawks.
All right, welcome to Newsday. So let's get started with the very first basic question. How did you get started on TikTok?
So we started our band right before the pandemic hit. And we had our first album ready to go. We had a bunch of shows lined up, touring, we're ready. And this whole world shuts down, as we all know. So we decided we had to jump on TikTok. It was the new big social media at the time. Everybody was doing it. And so a bunch of our friends and family were encouraging us, you got to get on TikTok. And so when all of our shows kind of got postponed and moved and canceled, and as well as the whole world, we decided it was time. We jumped on, and TikTok was all about trends at the time, very, everybody doing dance trends or cooking trends and stuff like that. So we decided to hop on a trend or two, and in the first week, we were up to 100,000 followers.
Wow.
And so that was very motivating, of course. So we decided, let's keep going at it. And we're playing our favorite classic rock covers to kind of pay homage to the genre that we love so much, and trying to bring that to a younger audience that maybe hasn't become infatuated with rock the same way that we have. So it was just a great kind of experience to reach a huge audience like that, a worldwide audience, and to just get comments like, hey, from the UK, or, we love you in Brazil, and stuff like that. And so now, being able to tour the world, finally, and meeting all these fans that we have interacted with on social media has just been incredible. I think that's the biggest strength of TikTok specifically, is just having an international reach, and being able to share your music, in this case, with the entire world is just incredible, and we're happy to do it.
That's amazing. So now, how many followers do you have?
So TikTok specifically, we're almost up to 4 million.
Wow.
And across all platforms, it's about 8 million, a little over 8 million. We're on YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. So it's been really great.
So how did you all individually get into music and then come together as a band?
All right, well, I'm going to start over here, our youngest
Yeah,
member.
pass the mic around.
Well, when the band started, it was just me and two other buddies from school. And the history of the name is we used to have Mohawks, and we liked metal. So we're like, all right, Metal Hawks, boom, there's our name. And the biggest show for us was the school talent show. And of course, we went in there, destroyed it. We were on top, the biggest kids. And then, then I met Ryan, of course, because he was at the talent show as well, destroyed it. And I was like, I need to have that kid in my band. So then we came together and then, went through a couple other members, and then we met Adam. But the way I started individually was through Guitar Hero. So my dad was, of course, huge in rock and roll music, got me Guitar Hero, and I was like, boom, I need to do this real life, I got to get a real guitar next. And that's basically how I started. So.
Yeah, so Johnny pretty much told my end of the story as far as how the band kind of came along together. Individually, I would say music was in my blood. My father was a singer. He met my mother when he was recording and rehearsing in a studio, and his biological father actually was also a singer. So you could say it was literally like in my veins. But even before I was born, my mom would play like Led Zeppelin up to her belly and all that kind of stuff.
Aww.
And as a matter of fact, I was really, really little, not even 2 months old, and my dad was blasting Poison on the stereo while I was sleeping on home video. And we had opened up for Bret Michaels a couple times back in December, and I was able to meet him and show him that video, and he was like, your parents did a good job bringing you up.
Raise you right.
Yeah, you could say that. But, I always, even when I was a kid, I was banging on, pots and pans and stuff like that. So I actually started out as a drummer, believe it or not. And then when I got into, my early teens, I got into, playing guitar and singing, where I ended up doing the talent show and meeting Johnny. And then bass kind of came along because we were looking for a bass player. It was me, Johnny, and another drummer. We could not find a bass player. And eventually I just said, screw it. I'm just going to play bass. And it's kind of history ever since.
I've been singing since I can remember, and growing up, my parents were big music lovers. I know my dad was really big into the Beatles, and my mom was a big theater person, so I kind of attribute that to kind of like my big belting voice type of thing.
Don't take these beautiful things that I've got, please.
But I've always been a lover of music, and so really it wasn't until I went on American Idol I decided that rock was going to be my genre. That's the one I kind of gravitated towards the most, just the energy of it, and kind of fell in love with it ever since. Just being able to perform on stage, the energy is incredible, the crowd's incredible. So that's kind of has always been where I wanted to be the most. So influence-wise, like I love Freddie Mercury, Steven Tyler, and Axl Rose and stuff like that. So just want to be one of those big greats, a classic in the future.
I grew up in a musical family. Both my parents are piano players, and they played musical theater together, and that's how they met. So ever since I was born, I was brought up into a musical house, so I was always exposed to piano playing in the background, and I picked it up pretty quickly. That was the first instrument I learned how to play. And then when I was about 3, I learned how to play the drums. I picked it up, and then I got lessons later on in life. But yeah, I kind of got a blend of all sorts of different genres because my mom was more into that hair metal rock, like Motley Crue and Poison and all that stuff. And my dad was more of a musical theater guy, so he liked all the show tunes and Broadway stuff. So I kind of got a different blend of all sorts of genres growing up. And I think that was beneficial for me, at least from a musical standpoint, so I can kind of grasp and gravitate towards other things. Because as a writer, it's important to have a taste for all sorts of genres of music. But yeah, I mean, I played in multiple bands around Long Island for as long as I can remember, and at a point when I heard about these guys, their previous drummer reached out to me saying that he wanted to pursue something else, and that he wanted me to audition. And that was kind of how I got started, and it's just gone on this crazy journey with these guys, and it's been life-changing, obviously.
Do you guys remember what the first show you guys ever played together was?
First show I ever played with them was at Rockwood Music Hall in Manhattan. That was my first show with them. I joined 2.5 years ago. Yeah, so, and how many shows have I done with you guys at this point? Like 70-something? Maybe?
Wow, it's a lot.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. It's been about 70 shows. And, yeah, they've done a ton of shows together. I mean, the two of them alone have done over 100 at least.
So I know you mentioned that you kind of started this in high school, right?
It was like middle school.
Middle school? So which middle school was it? Because we're here on Long Island,
Of
so.
course, it was Plain Edge Middle School.
Let's go, Devils!
All right.
All right, great. And then also you mentioned that you were on American Idol. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I had always me and my family. Our family vacation was we always tried to get back to Disney World, and so they had an attraction there that was called the American Idol Experience, where it's essentially like a karaoke contest each day, and people from the park would audition. There'd be a whole kind of like a audition process with like a fake Simon Cowell type thing. They have the judges, they have the stage all set up. You go through and meet the executive producer guy, and he'll tell you like, "You're in, kid, go yeah," and that type of thing. Like, but the winning person from each day would get this golden ticket that let them skip the line for the real American Idol auditions. And so that was kind of the only reason I auditioned, was because I had won this ticket that let me skip the line. It was at Nassau Coliseum, was the big kind of Coliseum round. And then the executive producer round was at the Marriott right next door, and so we went in there, and there was about maybe like 300 people that made it through that giant Coliseum round from Long Island right here. And so I just kept, just seeing how far I could go. I just wanted to have fun with it, and I wasn't really trying to start anything. I had this ticket. Well, let me go try it. And it was just an amazing experience, just meeting all these other really talented singers, like that New York round. Notably, Jax was in there, another New York, New Jersey local type of thing. And it was just really awesome, just like going across the country to California and meeting all these people. I got kind of seeing behind the curtain of a lot of these reality shows, which was really cool. Kind of ruined reality TV a little bit, but
Don't say that.
Don't say
I still watch them.
That's all right. Just stay on that side and you're good. You don't want to see what Kim Kardashian's doing behind the scenes.
Oh no! Cue the sound.
Hi, I'm Kim Kardashian West.
How did the Disney experience compare to the real show?
So obviously, a much smaller scale, and I kind of was there when a lot of New Yorkers were there on vacation. So I feel like the audience may have been a little biased when I was saying I'm from New York. Everybody's like, yeah. So that was cool. New York supports New York. What can we say? But it was just really awesome that they are able to kind of give people a shot. There's a lot of people that are willing to put themselves out there, and like we see from TikTok. I mean, everybody can become a star from their living room these days. So, I think it's very encouraging and cool. They don't have that experience anymore, so don't go trying to go down there for yourself. But, just to be able to stand in front of some judges and tell them they tell you that you have something worth pushing is cool.
So, do you all play the same instruments, but one obviously you're stronger in than others?
So, one of our favorite trends that we like to do on TikTok is like guess who our drummer is,
Oh, yeah.
or guess who our guitar player is, and you could kind of see through those videos that Ryan plays every instrument. And then the rest of us have our kind of specialties.
Specialties, yeah.
Like Griffin said, he plays the drums, but he also plays keyboards and various percussion instruments and stuff like that, like a xylophone or marimba or stuff like that. And then Johnny plays guitar and, looks cool. That's his specialty. And I sing, and I don't play anything else. I play the harmonica a little bit, and I play the ukulele a little bit, but nothing to get me through a song, I would say.
So, who writes the music?
The writing process has been really great. It's a very collaborative effort.
Okay.
Everybody kind of gets together, and either somebody will come in with an idea, or we'll just organically come up with something on the spot, and just kind of work through it. We're actually writing our second album right now, our newest album, and we're exploring a lot of kind of new experiments, let's say, just trying to push ourselves as much as possible. Because it's easy once you've made an album already to go, okay, let's just pick our favorite songs and make another one of those. We don't want to get stuck in that. We don't want to do that. So we want to come up with the most fresh ideas we can and really kind of push ourselves.
Can you define what an experiment is for some of us musically challenged people?
So in terms of an experiment, it more refers to, say, like for us, we're a hard rock band, and we're used to that kind of style of music. And we've been
Okay.
playing that music for as long
Yeah.
as we have. But now we're going into a different direction, maybe going on the poppier side, exploring some more alternative rock routes. So in terms of an experiment, it's kind of blending a different genre, but you're using the same members that are in a pre-existing hard rock band. So that's kind of what we mean by experimenting. We're going in a different direction sonically.
Okay. So, what's your opinion on the Long Island music scene?
I got words for that. So as somebody who grew up in the Long Island music scene, I can tell you firsthand that it is really challenging. There's not a lot of places for local bands to play live, especially since COVID hit. A lot of those places have gone out of business because there's just
Okay.
nobody able to play at the bars. So in terms of local bands trying to come up, it's almost impossible, and it's really hard for a lot of bands to get seen, to get noticed. Quite frankly, a lot of people on Long Island are more interested in seeing bands they're familiar with. That's why they go to see tribute bands. And a lot of people go to see the tribute bands, a lot of people go to see the cover bands that are playing at some random bar somewhere, and there's just really not an interest in new rock, and it's really hard for a lot of guys to come up. And yeah, we're very fortunate to have had such a boom on social media, and that's kind of why we encourage every band to go on social media, because that's the way of the world now. Everyone and their mother is on social media.
That's very true.
So you have to have a presence on social
And so is Newsday.
Follow us.
And I mean, to piggyback on that, we spent a lot of time in Europe the past couple of years, touring and playing shows, and you could kind of feel the difference in audience. How like they're still looking for new rock over there. You know what I mean? So it's very kind of, it's just different tastes, to be honest. And it's not just New York, to pick on New York. It's the whole country. America is more focused on pop, more focused on just
Taylor Swift.
right, Taylor Swift, artists, and if you look at the Billboard Top 100, there maybe is one or two bands, each time they put it out. Like the time of bands has kind of gone, and so that's why it's almost more important now for us to be like a unit and kind of present ourselves as a new band and say, bands are not going anywhere. It's still kind of the basics. And like, to be playing real instruments on a track should not be passe and be like, oh, I'll just use a beat. Why do I need a drum? It's like, we got to get rid of that. We need to play some guitars and feel the instruments in our hands.
So of the venues that you've played on Long Island, where would you say is your favorite and why?
I mean, every place that allows us to play is my favorite. We're talking Newsday. Newsday Studio 2. It's Newsday. Newsday Studio 2. We're talking Newsday. Newsday Studio 2. It's always really nice to come and play a hometown show. Like, for example, we played Stephen Talkhouse. Amazing venue, legendary. We just saw Paul McCartney was there.
Amazing.
Like, he just stopped in to say hello. Like, so Long Island, we have our legendary venues. The Paramount, we've played there a couple times. Great venue. Just anywhere that is willing to give a band a shot these days. Yeah. Like we said, it's hard for us these days, and so anyone that's willing to open the doors to a little lowly band is great. It's great for me.
So what would be your dream venue to play at?
Easy. Yeah,
it's easy.
Everybody say it together.
Let's see if we can nail it.
1, 2, 3.
Madison
Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. Nah.
What do you mean? Was there a right answer? I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. No,
We were just talking about how you're a unit and you're all on different pages now.
No, we're not. Not on this question. No, but Jones Beach would be awesome to play too. As Long Islanders, that's definitely like, if we could play Jones Beach, I could die tomorrow and say I've lived a full life. But obviously the Garden, and obviously some bigger festivals in Europe like Sweden Rock. God, there's more that's just off the top of my head that I can't think of right now. But we still have a long way to go to get some bigger and better shows. Not that the shows we've already played have been awesome, but we're not done yet.
So aside from Europe, where has been the furthest that you've traveled for your music?
Good question. Good luck.
We're actually planning a show in Antarctica very soon. No, maybe. Who knows?
That's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden and Switzerland have been really amazing. We've been fortunate enough to go over there and play some festivals, and it's been really great. We're planning on going back there very soon. But yeah, I mean, being able to go from Sweden and then a couple days later go fly to California, it's crazy. So we're always on flights, going everywhere. If you see us in the airport, say hello. We'll take a selfie. But yeah, it's just becoming a world traveler is something that's very interesting. You kind of have a perception of what that might be going into it, and like everything else, it's not as glorified as it seems. But it's really cool just being able to meet different people from different places and experience different cultures as, like, you're kind of like a tourist, but you're in there like working, so like you kind of feel like you're part of it a little bit. So it's really cool. And just me, being a social media influencer, let's say, in another country, it's amazing to see young kids, like 12 or 13, coming up to you and being like, "I saw you on YouTube.
Aww.
Oh, yeah, can I take a picture?" Stuff like that. So it's just really cool being able to be in that position and do it for a living. It's great.
Yeah. Did you ever think that this would be your full-time job? Yes.
Wow, I like that answer.
For as long as I can remember, this is what I wanted to do. I didn't have a plan B. I still don't really have a plan B. And this is kind of just, this is the dream. You got to follow that dream, as cheesy as that is. You kind of have to full send that. So, yeah, truly, this is the only thing I've ever imagined doing, and this is what I knew I was going to become. And I hope everybody else agrees.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I actually went to college in the city in FIT, and I was going for toy design. And so that was kind of my plan B, was to let me work in the city, and I could go and audition for commercials and Broadway and stuff like that, and it'll be great. I'll do both. And of course, we all know you can't do both. You know, well, one of them will be kind of tossed to the wayside. And so that is my message to everybody out there. You know, if you have your plan B, but you focus all of your time into your plan B, then plan A is never going to happen. So you need to just, you know, as hard as it's going to be, the initial shock might be really hard, but you got to focus on plan A sometime to at least give it a shot, you know, especially if you're young out there. Just follow your dreams. Like Griffin said, it's a little corny, but that's fine. Everything's cringe these days, so it's okay.
Of course, this has been my, dream job, I guess you could say, or dream thing you want to pursue. But it was kind of crazy because when we blew up, all the schools were closed down. So I was hiding behind a screen, while the band was blowing up. And I was like, I'm kind of celebrity here, guys. I'm sitting there on these screen calls, and I'm watching the TikToks blow up, and I'm like trying to focus on this. But of course, this has been my dream job since day one. I mean, I wouldn't have started it so young and kept going with it if it wasn't so.
Well, boys, I have no plan B, so we better make this work, all right? But, like what I was going to kind of say was pretty much what Adam said. There's nothing wrong with having a plan B and just putting that on the wayside. But I think the second you resort back to, well, if this doesn't work out, I can always go back to this, then you're never going to get your plan A. Like, my thing would be, like, as corny as it sounds, like we said, like, follow your dreams and just pursue it like it's the only thing you've got. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is all I have. So let's get to work, boys.
So since you guys have been able to do it full time, do you consider it now that you've made it, or was there a specific moment that you thought you made it, or is there a moment you're waiting for?
Well, as soon as we graced the Newsday stage, I knew. No.
We didn't pay them to say that, by the way.
This is not sponsored.
The Newsday. No. No, I mean, I think if you ask any artist, have you made it? I think they're going to say no, unless it's like Post Malone or, somebody up there, but Taylor Swift. But even then, it's like a lot of these artists, we actually have a song called Backwards that's about kind of the process of going viral and how you don't see the years of work behind it. You just see the viral moment and you say that those people blew up overnight. And you don't know how many countless nights they were working that you had never seen them before, And I think that's probably true of almost anyone that has experienced going viral, or even just any artist on the radio has been working twice, 3 times, 20 times as long as you've known them, And so that's why it's really cool when a young artist pops up, because you know that they haven't had as much time to work on their craft and to try to get themselves out there. So it's really a blessing when a young artist comes up. But yeah, I mean, I won't say that I've made it until the big things, like, playing Madison Square Garden and stuff like that. And just, I don't know. Like we had our success with almost the most viral thing we've done is our Jack Black collaboration.
Yes, of course. And we were going to ask about that.
Yes.
That's coming up.
And so, the day of that happening, everybody's freaking out. We're like, it happened. Oh my God, we finally got it. Oh my God. And then the day after, it's like, it's another day at the office. What's the next video? Let's go. So, it's hard to stay excited about an accomplishment when there's still plenty of work to be done. Like Ryan said, like, let's get back to work here, And so, yeah, it's hard to ever kind of rest on your laurels and say, I made it, until you have billions of dollars and a mansion in every country. And
Fair
you're like,
enough.
"All right, I think I made it now."
Yeah.
You know? But even then,
Those are some big goals.
you gotta keep them big.
Yeah. Speaking of Jack Black, so that was a very exciting collaboration in a way. Do you guys have any other collaborations that you're hoping for, or any other artists that you really enjoyed collaborating with?
Yeah, I mean, we've done some amazing collabs in our past. One of the notable ones we did with Snider of Twisted Sister.
I wanna rock!
Another Long Island.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. Like we ended up at the same studio, and he was really nice about it. Just kind of came in and like his personality fits perfectly into the TikTok world. He's a very big personality and just a really like great sense of humor, great guy. So it's really cool when he was able to jump in with us. But yeah, we've done some cool like brand collabs with WWE wrestling. We did a Dana White, the CEO of the UFC, and he was really cool. Reached out to us and brought us over to a fight at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And that was incredible. Just being able to kind of rub elbows with these people that are huge influences in the world, pretty much, has been amazing. And just being able to collaborate here and there. We just talked to the Costco guys, TikTok. Shout out to the Costco guys, AJ and Big Justice. And so, you never know who the next big collab will be. And it's really fun.
So with Jack Black, did he just do that on his own or was it like some kind of communication?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So we were doing this challenge, which is how Jack Black ended up duetting us. Like, he gets comparisons to Jack Black like fish breathe in water. So we decided to like play into it a little bit and just be like, oh, day one until Jack Black duets us. And it was about like day 5 or day 6 when we would be looking at Jack Black's profile on TikTok, and people were spamming in the comments like, duet Jack Black, duet Jack Black. Like, it was like we had this cult following that was going after him.
Wow.
And then one day, I'm sitting on my couch, open up TikTok, and then sure enough, there was Jack Black reacting to our video.
His name was Young JB and he refused to step in line.
I show my dad the next time over, like, Dad, look what just came up on my feed. And he's like, you guys did it. You guys got Jack Black to
That's amazing.
duet us. So that was how that pretty much came about. It was pretty much something he did on his own, at the behest of our little cult following.
Wow. A loyal fan base right there.
Yeah. Shout out to the TikTok comments.
Speaking of TikTok, you touched upon this a little bit, but how important is being on social media, for your careers, for musicians?
I mean, the world that we're in today, not only for musicians, but almost for any job where you're kind of putting yourself as an individual online, it's the way to go. I mean, between Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, those are the big 3 for me, at least. And it's just really kind of a necessity for not just individual also, but small businesses, even all the way up to Amazon, like the biggest companies in the world still need social media. So, if it works for them, then it will work for anybody. And you really just have to put yourself out there. It's the hardest thing to hit that record button, but it has to be done, and especially if you're trying to make yourself a name for yourself online, be it a social media platform or a small business or an entrepreneurship, you got to just have some kind of presence. And it used to be a website, now it's an Instagram, but it's the same principle of having somewhere to send people to go kind of view your product. You are a product.
Yeah.
And so you need to have that marketing side of it.
So we just want to switch gears here, and we just want to ask you guys about your life on Long Island. Did you all grow up here? Did you all go to school here? Tell us a little bit about your background here on the island.
So to start, I grew up and was born here in Long Island. I'm from Wantagh, and I went to Forest Lake Elementary School, live right by there, and then middle school and high school, Wantagh, and Like I said, I went to college at FIT in the city, and so I've always been a Long Island native. I love it here. You know, we visit all these countries, and we're like, I could see myself living here. I could see myself living there. But I don't know. I can't see myself living long term anywhere else. You know, maybe if the tax is a little bit lower, you know, but otherwise,
Relatable.
it's good for me.
I think every Long Islander can relate to that.
I was born and raised I was born in Brooklyn, Park Slope, and I was born in Manhattan. When I was about 4 years old, I moved to Long Island in Plainview, and I pretty much lived there my entire life. And I'm currently in Old Bethpage right now. That's where I reside. And yeah, I pretty much am born and raised Long Islander, and you know, it's a nice suburban lifestyle. And conveniently enough, everybody here lives so close to each other. It's so interesting, like how that worked out.
Yeah, it is crazy because we hear other bands and they say, you know, one of them lives in 2 hours away, one of them's an hour away. We get one practice in a month. I'm like, it's just not going to cut it. You know, the live shows, they're not as good because, you know, you don't practice. But yeah, I was born and raised Long Island, Massapequa, Plain Edge, and you know, there's a reason we pay high taxes because, like you said, we go everywhere in the world and we just can't see ourselves living there. You come back to New York, Long Island, you're like, this is the place. This is home to us. So.
Yeah, I was actually born in Antarctica. No, I'm like these three guys, like Long Island born and raised. We bounced around a little bit when I was a baby. Like when I was first born, we lived in Farmingdale for a little bit. Then we bounced around a couple of houses in Bethpage where I settled in. And him and I went to Plain Edge, and Plain Edge is weird because it's more of like a hamlet, so it's all of North Massapequa where he's from. And then there's parts of Seaford, Farmingdale, and Bethpage, which is a part of Plain Edge that I grew up in. But yeah, no complaints. Like, you know, taxes are one thing, but there's a reason we pay these taxes because, you know, we love it here.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that how you guys all found each other, from living close by?
Well, pretty much. Like, I'm like him and I went to the same, like, middle school, high school, school district, and through the talent show we met, obviously. So I guess you could kind of say that. But him and I went to different elementary schools. But middle school, high school, same thing. I went to John H. West, he went to East Plain.
So being that you're all so close to one another on Long Island, does that make practice time and, you know, just hanging out that much easier for you guys?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially for TikTok, you know, it's almost an everyday type of thing. And especially when we started, we were making 2 videos a day. And you can't do that if one person lives 2 hours away, another person lives away.
Yeah.
So being able to kind of meet almost every day or every other day, it's integral, I would say, to building a brand like that and being able to make content that you're at least putting out once a week, let's say, you know, the bare minimum. And on the band side of things, like Johnny mentioned, being able to practice is crucial as well. And for writing, you know, there's so many facets of being in a band that you need as much time together as possible, I'd say.
Are you practicing every day?
I mean, depends what you call practice. I'm practicing right now. But we try to get, you know, a cycle going. So you need like one day of electric practice with our guitars and the drums kind of in the basement, you know. And then you need another day to make TikToks and make videos for Instagram and everything
Got
like
it.
that. You need another day for writing original music. You know, like I said, working on a new album, so you need a day for that. You know, you need a day for photos, press photos, and stuff like that for different
Newsday
marketing
interviews.
campaigns. For Newsday, you know, you need a day for Newsday.
Newsday's every day, come on.
Newsday every day. Newsday every day.
But yeah, so you kind of have to mark out different days for different things and make sure that all your bases are covered so you don't neglect one side of the business. That type of thing.
Gotcha.
Seems like you guys hang out every day. You don't get sick of each other after a while?
What have we done?
We're seeing the end right now. We're in front of our eyes.
First in Newsday, right?
If you spend enough time with the person, there's gonna be days where you're like, oh yeah. So, you know, we're brothers, and that's what brothers do. Brothers get along sometimes, brothers don't get along sometimes.
Did you find it was easy to play with each other at first and play music together, or did you have to kind of get into a rhythm?
When I auditioned for these guys, I knew immediately that we were like, it was
Wow.
like from the beginning it was tight, and That's a rarity to be able to just gel into something like that. Because a lot of the time, some bands are just used to their other drummers, or used to a guitar player, used to their bass player, whatever it is. And sometimes it doesn't quite gel right away, and it takes some time to, you know, tighten it up. But from the beginning, there was such a solid foundation that we just gel so well together, and then from there, it's just gotten better and better because we play so much.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same for me when I joined these guys. Was a similar kind of thing of we had like one practice together, and I knew that it was kind of more than just like you know, I'm gonna sing with you guys a little bit. Like it was like, this is like a band. You know, we need to make this kind of one cohesive thing. So yeah, like Griffin said, sometimes there could be growing pains or kind of some things that need to get smoothed out in the transition.
To put it lightly, yeah.
Yeah, for us it was kind of instant. Just we knew that
Amazing.
this was our group right here.
So in terms of like the video ideas that you guys have for TikTok, tell me what goes into them. Is there anything specific? Do you try and differentiate between music or just different content in general?
So it is definitely hard to kind of marry the traditional, what you would see on social media, with music in general. You know, you see like dance trends, or you see artists just singing their music, but we try to integrate a little bit of comedy, throw our personalities into the videos to let the viewer kind of feel like they're almost with us, you know, in the basement, making our videos with us. We throw a little of our music, our classic rock covers, and that little humor aspect. And sometimes we'll make up a trend almost on our own. So there is a video type where I'll have a piece of duct tape on my arm, and I'll rip off for the high note.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll just be like, "Dream on!" Yeah! And so we'll get little moments like that where like, oh, that's a good video. You know, or we've done one where we gargle the harmonies for a song and stuff like that. So just little things that kind of it catches your eye on your For You page, and then it stops you from scrolling. You know, that's the goal.
You say, I want to try that.
Yeah.
And
like,
yeah, and even like when we were together and we're trying to just come up with ideas, it's like usually the ideas that we think the least about tend to do the best. Like,
We've heard that
we
before.
had an idea with the whole tape thing. We did it with Don't Stop Believing My Journey.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like we probably spent less than 5 minutes doing that video because we were just like, oh, we should do this tape song. What song are we doing? Don't Stop Believing. Hit the high note. One take, we were done. And lo and behold, it got
All in a day's work.
25 million views or something like that. Maybe more, like 100 million views across everything. So, you know, that's the thing just general advice for people who want to do this. Don't overthink it. You gotta just get into it and really pump out as much as you possibly can. Obviously, be consistent. Don't just do anything. But you wanna, you know, be consistent with the process and try posting once a day, even twice a day, just getting started. And then one of those videos out of the 30 is guaranteed to do the best out of all of them. And then you kind of try and double down on that idea and see if you can, you know, put a twist on that.
So the bigger question is, how is your arm hair doing?
as you can see, it's perfectly fine. I use a stunt arm.
Third arm just
I have a stunt double arm.
Yeah. Someone comes up behind you.
So who edits and shoots all of your videos? And how long does it generally take for you to film during these shooting days?
So, you know, almost all of our stuff that we produce is made in-house by us. You know, Johnny will be doing a lot of the editing and like adding text, stuff like that. And you know, as far as just coming up with ideas, it's all us. You know, we just similar to how we write music, we just get together and try to brainstorm ideas. So maybe somebody will come in with an idea, but for the most part, it's kind of a collaboration of, you know, what's worked in the past and what we can kind of innovate on, or maybe we'll see a trend that week that we want to jump on. So it's very fluid. That's another reason why you need to meet so often is, you know, if a trend starts on Monday and you can't meet until 2 weeks from then, the trend's gone.
Yeah, you're done.
You missed it. So,
Yeah.
being able to be close together is great for that as well.
Yeah. So tapping into trends and then also making your own original videos, which of the two do you think is more valuable for you in terms of growing your audience?
So that's a great question, because that has been kind of our question to ourselves for a while, is how do you marry the two of being a band and a social media presence? You know, like we do like to inject that humor into our content, and it's helped us succeed, I would say. But now, how do you transition that audience to come to a show, you know, or buy an album from your website, you know? And so we're constantly trying to bridge that gap, and I think, you know, just creating original music and music videos and stuff like that really helps kind of just show the audience that you have that other side to you.
Right.
And so that's kind of been our goal, is moving forward, is kind of to try to bridge that gap as much as possible, and show the audience that knows us for ripping our tape off our arm that we also have kind of a more serious side. And yeah, it's always going to be kind of a challenge moving forward to bridge those two audiences.
Do you find yourself more on social media individually doing, I guess, research because you blew up on TikTok?
Another good question. I mean, I would say definitely, you know, if to be on top of the trends, you need to be on a platform. You know?
Right.
And whether it's as you're creating is one thing, but you kind of need to be an observer, an audience member, to see what works, what doesn't work. You know, if you see a viral video and you see it from one day ago, you're like, we need to get on this. You know, so it's really, you have to be on the cutting edge to kind of capitalize on it. Otherwise, like I said, if you see a trend that's popping off, but that's from 2 weeks ago, you already missed it.
Yep.
And so, you know, you can't take a break almost from TikTok and social media in general.
That's very true. We can all relate to that. So of the different social platforms, you mentioned that you're pretty much on everything right now. Which do you think is your favorite? Is it TikTok?
You go first.
Okay. I'd say right now YouTube is probably the best platform for us at the moment in terms of growth. We've seen
Okay.
a lot of growth recently on our YouTube channels. Just recently hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which is a huge
Nice.
deal for us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think in general, like, there's more incentive to do YouTube for creators. And as far as TikTok goes, I feel like there's such an oversaturated market on the app that it's become increasingly difficult for newer people to get on and get started, because we refer to it as shadow banning, in which you post a video and then all of a sudden it's got like 2 views. Why does it have 2 views? We have 1 million followers. This makes no sense. For whatever reason, the TikTok algorithm doesn't play in our favor most of the time. When it comes to YouTube, I feel like YouTube is a little more consistent with playing into it, and Instagram as well. I put YouTube, Instagram, TikTok at the current moment in time. You know, maybe a year ago, TikTok was at number 1, and YouTube was at number 2. You know, it really varies because certain videos are going to do better than other videos on other platforms.
So true. Yeah.
One last question we have for you guys is, what advice do you have for Long Islanders trying to make it on social media?
We've kind of mentioned it a couple times here, and, you know, it's going to sound cliche, but you have to just kind of put yourself out there, you know. That the hardest part is the starting of it, and being able to make videos from your home is your greatest asset right now, especially, you know, maybe a couple years ago, 10 years ago, let's say, you had to have a professional quality mic, you had to have a professional camera, you know, your backdrop had to be, you know, set up pro. But nowadays, it's not the case. If you have an iPhone, you can make videos. You know, a lot of our videos are shot just from an iPhone and edited in the app. A lot of the apps have editing software in their programming already. So, you know, there's almost no excuse to not put yourself out there. If you want to become a content creator, this is the time to do it. And YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, like I said, those are kind of the big 3 for me. Facebook's still kicking out there, you know, and there's plenty of other platforms, but TikTok, especially if you are an unknown creator that's just starting out, just start posting videos. You know, 1 a day, 2 a day, and you'll definitely see improvement. And like Griffin said, you take the one that worked the best that week and make 3 of them, make 5 of them. You know, and try to find your niche. And all these creators that we're talking about started maybe doing completely different videos. Who knows? Unrecognizable to the ones they're doing today. But they just found the one that worked for them and kept pushing it. I mean, look at somebody like Joe Rogan, who has one of the biggest podcasts in the world right now, if not the biggest. And he's a stand-up comedian and turned TV reality host, turned, you know, now biggest podcaster in the world. Like, you know, you never know where you're going to end up and what is going to be that big moment for you. And people might not even remember what you used to do in the past. If let's say you're embarrassed about it, like, oh, I don't want people to remember that. Well, then the best way is to make new content, change it up, you know, and just put yourself out there. And it's going to be hard at first, but you never know what it'll take you.
Hardest part is consistency. You have to be disciplined and willing to just post every day, twice a day, once a day, whatever it is, just as long as you're consistently doing it every single day. Even like on the days that you're just like, I can't get out of bed, I can't sleep, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, you have to just power through and get it done. That's the best track to success, is you have to have that consistency. And from a musician standpoint, it's the same thing. Play your instrument every single day. You go a week without playing an instrument, especially with drummers, your hands feel like garbage. Like, it's a muscle memory thing. It's like you lose that so fast, especially if you don't practice. So you gotta practice every day. You gotta play every day, post every day. Just be consistent. That's the best advice you can possibly give.
Yep, I definitely agree with them. Consistency is probably the #1 thing. And also, it's just studying your content, you know. You know, you upload 30 videos, you want to study, what'd you do wrong, what can you do better? And then study the biggest people, like, just copy them. That's how you get started with anything. Just copying the best creators, but putting your own spins to it, so.
Yeah, and you know, like Griff said, it's all about just kind of finding your own niche. Like, it's one thing to be just out there just promoting your music, but if there's not like an edge to it or a catch to it, like, it's just gonna get buried with everything else. So like, you have to find your one thing that makes you stand out, and it's gonna come with experimentations. And it's like when Griffin said, you know, just make a bunch of different videos, and whatever sticks, just make more of it. And that's all I have to add. These 3 pretty much said whatever I was gonna say.
Can you play something for us?
This is a little song from our latest album, everybody. This one is called I'm Done. If you want to listen to it, head on over to any music streaming platform. You can listen to it. It's right there. We're Adam and the Metal Hawks. Please enjoy. I'm going to play the harmonica a little bit. Down the door, got my feet on the floor. Almost didn't survive, but I'm hitting my stride, babe, and now I'm back for more. Well, I'm holding the line, I ain't breaking no laws. All this pushing and pulling, well, here's my solution. I'm not gonna take it anymore, 'cause I'm done, done, done. I'm giving you my heart, babe. I'm done, baby. I'm jamming in your jaw. I'm done, done, done. I'm giving you my heart, babe. I'm done, baby. So feel my bleeding heart. Come on, Johnny. I'm not off the stage, 'cause my heart's in a rage. I've been kicked in the face, told to know my place now. I'm kicking out of my cage. I can't take it no more. I'm shaking too. My very cord is busting and balling. I found my new calling. Not gonna take it anymore, 'cause I'm done, done, done. I'm giving you my heart, baby. I'm done, baby. I'm chasing after cars. I'm done, done, done. I'm giving you my heart.
heart, babe. Down, baby, so feel my bleeding heart. Down. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby, I'm done. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, oh. Thank you, everybody. We're at them in the Metal Hawks. Newsday Studios, everybody. We'll see you real soon.